Hello everyone, Parallel here, and welcome to Star Trek Online. In this video, I will be taking a look at the Flagship Technologies console set. Now this is a new console set. It was just recently released as part of the 6th anniversary event, along with the new Tier 6 flagships. And it has some very interesting stats and set bonuses, so I thought I would go ahead and make a video about this and go into a little bit of detail and take a look at what the capabilities are of this console set. So first off, what I thought I would do is just quickly talk about how you can acquire this console set, because there is a couple details you should be aware of. I also will take a look at the actual set bonuses and the active abilities of each of the pieces. It is a 4-piece set. So I'll take a look at each of those. I also want to take a look at the visuals. I noticed that each of these consoles has a very interesting graphical or particle effect, and that they're actually pretty cool, so I wanted to show those. And then finally, maybe do like a quick Argala run to just test things out a little bit, see how effective it is in an actual run. And just see if all the set bonuses are worth it or not, and the actual individual active powers on each of the consoles, how they fare in in an actual mission. And just finally wrap it up with some conclusions, talk a little bit about how good are these consoles, and maybe talk a little bit about what kind of builds you'd want to use them on. Alright, so let's get started here. Now, I will just quickly show each of the 4 consoles, and let's just talk a little bit about how you get these. So, getting the first 3 consoles is pretty easy. All you need to do is go to the C-Store and take a look at your Tier 6 ships, and what you're going to want to do is pick up the Tier 6 Odyssey bundle. Basically, if you want to get 3 pieces of this set, you need to get one of each of the variants of the new Tier 6 flagship. So you need to get the science variant, tactical variant, and oh, that's the tactical over there, and then also the engineering variant. You get all 3 of those. Each one comes with the console. You can take all 3 of those consoles and put it on one ship, and there you go. You've got a good start. You've got 3 out of the 4. Now the 4th one is where the trick is. To get the 4th one console in this set, basically you need to be able to get the Krenim Science Vessel. The only way to get the Krenim Science Vessel is during the 6th anniversary event in Star Trek, and that event is only going for another week. So there's very limited time left to get this ship. In fact, if you want to get this ship now, as of this video, you won't be able to do it just by completing the event. You'll actually have to purchase low-buy crystals in order to actually get this in time before the event ends. So those are what you need to do to actually get the 4 pieces of the set. So if you are interested, make sure you hop on soon and get that Krenim Science Vessel before it's too late. Now let's take a look at each of the consoles here. Just quickly look at the stats and the set bonuses. So the first one you get from the tactical variant of the Tier 6 Odyssey. That's this one right here, the Flagship Tactical Computer. It has a passive 17.8 energy damage bonus. That's a category 1. It also gives a active ability with a 2-minute cooldown, and what it will do is give you a firing cycle haste, and then plus turn and plus fight speed. And the interesting thing is it's a team buff. So it is actually a pretty interesting console. The fact that it is a team buff could make this really, really nice for, for actual, if you're going to be doing a queue. So, not bad at all. The firing cycle haste is actually pretty good. That's a decent buff for your whole team. Now, the only sort of caveat is that after you use this, it will actually put a debuff on everyone on your team where they cannot benefit from this buff again for another 60 seconds. So it's unfortunately you can't have a team of 5 and cycle this thing almost permanently. You can only do it once. You can still cycle it once every 60 seconds to get a little bit better uptime. But there you go, that is the first piece. Now to get the second piece, you pull this off of the engineering variant. This is the Adaptive Emergency Systems. This one has a passive 17.8 all energy damage resistance. That's not great, honestly. If it were kinetic damage, that'd be a lot better, but well, it is something. It's still decent for tanking, I suppose. It also gives 3.3% hull capacity, so that's pretty cool. This one also has a very nice active ability. This one has a plus damage and damage resistance. So it's offensive and defensive buff. So, and it also scales up slightly if you are lower on health. So basically it gives you plus 50 to all damage bonus resistance ratings for 30 seconds. And it's increased to 75% if you're less than 50% hull. And it also gives you plus 30% all damage for 30 seconds. That's actually not too bad. And I'll have to double check. I believe that's category 2 because it says all damage for 30 seconds. So that would actually make it a pretty substantial buff during that time. And it also goes up to 45% if you are low on hull. So pretty interesting there. You could just think in your mind there could be some combos here. A nice combo with either the invincible trait or the go down fighting if you're a tactical character. That could be, I mean, if you have your invincible trait, you activate a max go down fighting and then pop this, that's quite a bit of damage bonus. I mean, that's going to be 45% all damage plus your go down fighting plus, yeah, that would be pretty amazing. All right, so the next piece here in the set is the piece that you get from the Science variant of the Odyssey, and this is the Dampening Wave Emitter. So in this case, it gives you a passive bonus of 15% maximum shield capacity. It's an okay bonus, not the best, but it is something. It also gives you the active ability of Violent Dampening Wave. So this is basically a point-blank AoE 4-kilometer radius explosion that comes out of your ship. And what it does is it gives you a radiation damage over time. It also gives a debuff to the foe where they have minus 80% all energy damage for 15 seconds. That's not too bad, honestly. It's a pretty nice debuff there. And it also does a disable for 5 seconds. This is actually a pretty interesting... the actual effect is actually quite effective that I've found, or it's quite effective in combat. The only downside is, again, as with most of these consoles, they have like a 2-minute cooldown time, which makes it so while they can be very useful when used, you just don't get to use them very much in a mission, which is unfortunate. And then finally, the last console you get is the Timeline Stabilizer. So this one you have to get from the Krenim Science Vessel. And like I said, that's only available during the 6th anniversary event. If you're watching this video and the 6th anniversary event is done, you are pretty much out of luck. With Cryptic's new policy that all event ships are absolutely 100% ironclad exclusive, with no possible way to ever get them ever again for all eternity once the event is over. With that policy in place, you're out of luck. You're never going to get this, period. But if you did get lucky enough to get it, here are the stats. It does give a 15% cooldown time reduction on Science Bridge Officer abilities, not bad. And it also gives you a active ability. This active ability is also pretty interesting. Timeline Stabilizer is a point-blank AoE, and it debuffs the foe's speed and turn rate and recharge, but also buffs your recharge and firing rate. So it's actually a firing cycle haste, sort of like the tactical console. That's kind of interesting. So it gives you a haste to firing cycle and to your bridge officer captain abilities, and which is interesting because it's also captain abilities. So it's bridge officer and captain ability recharge time. That actually makes this pretty powerful, honestly. It also gives a debuff to your foes, reduces their increases their recharge time, so it takes them longer to use abilities, and reduces their flight speed and turn rate. Again, pretty helpful. You'll see when this is activated, it kind of radiates out, and you'll see a little area around your ship with where everything within that radius will be affected by the debuff. All right, so those are the actual consoles. Let's take a look here at the actual bonuses. All right, so let's go down here to the, here it is, Flagship Technologies 404. So the 2-piece set bonus is flagship modification. You get 2% crit chance, plus 3 flight turn rate. Not bad. Certainly helps out on these larger Odyssey ships, which don't have the greatest turn rate in the world. The set 3 bonus, this is the one that interests me the most. And let's take a look at it here. So this one's called Deadly Response. Whenever you receive damage when a shield facing is depleted, 10% chance to apply Deadly Response stacks up 3 times. It gives you temporary hit points, and it gives you 10% all damage for 10 seconds. Now here's the thing. This actually has no cooldown. This can activate and continually refresh itself if you're taking fire with any one of your shield facings down. That's pretty cool, plus the temporary hit points. So that's like constantly giving you temporary hit points and constantly giving you a nice all damage buff, category 2 all damage buff, if you're ever getting hit with a shield facing down. This has some really, really cool potential, I believe, especially for like a tank build where you know you're always going to be tanking your shield, or at least one shield facing is going to be down, especially when you're fighting Borg and they're just going to drain all your shield instantly anyway. This could be quite effective for that. And then finally, the 4-piece set bonus is the Flagship Technology. This one, all this is basically increasing all of the console clicky effects. So it increases your adaptive emergency systems. Basically, it allows you to activate it at 75% and 50% health. Not a big deal. Flight weapon acceleration, or fleet weapon acceleration, increases the duration from 15 to 20. Not bad. So that way you could have it up 20 seconds out of every 60 seconds if you were cycling it with some fleet mates. It's something. And then finally, the violent dampening wave increases the radius from 4 to 5 kilometers. Again, it's something, but it's not huge. I mean, if you're ever going to use this, you probably want to bundle things up with a gravity well or something first anyway. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not super impressed by this 4-piece set bonus, and that's a good thing, I think, because as I just mentioned, if you don't have the Krenim Science Vessel during the, if you didn't get it during the 6th anniversary event, you're out of luck. You aren't getting this 4-piece console set ever. So the best you can ever get is the 3-piece. But luckily, in my opinion, the 3-piece is probably the best bonus. And I want to do more testing on this because I really think this could be a make for like a great hull tanking build. Yeah, that could be really, really amazing. Both on the tank and on the damage side, so that could be really great. And if you can't get the 4-piece set bonus, all you're missing is just a couple little small buffs on the clicky effects. Not a big deal at all. Alright, so that is the stats. I'm going to quickly head out into space here and take a look at the graphical effects, because they're actually pretty cool. Before I do that, I just will quickly show you what I will be using here to test out these consoles in combat. I'm actually here in a Yorktown variant. This is the science variant of the Tier 6 Science Star Cruiser. Basically the science version of this. And this is looking to be a really, really great ship. In fact, I am working on a build video for this. I know I said I'd be doing build videos for all the Tier 6 flagships, and I will definitely be doing that. But I'm still working on it. I have to level up all these ships, unlock all their traits, and do some testing on what builds I like. And what build I'm starting to really think is the best for this ship is a aggro tank build. And I've seen some great builds out there for the previous Science Odyssey that was widely considered one of the best tanks in the game. And during the Omega Particle event, I've been able to get some plus aggro plasma consoles set up, so I'm getting close to being able to have a full tanking build, basically a particle gen aggro tank build for this ship. So that'll be coming up soon, and I'm kind of using the framework of it here to test out these 4 consoles. And you can see I have the 4 consoles here in my engineering. This ship is actually one of the few ships I would actually recommend if you wanted to run the entire 4 console set to use this ship, because it has so many engineering and science consoles, you can really fit it in. On some of the other variants, it'd be really hard to fit in 4 consoles like this. As you know, there's a very large opportunity cost for having to go for a full 4 console set. You just have to give up so much to do so. Alright, so that is just a quick look at what I'll be using to test this out. I was kind of playing around with a disable build because the point blank AoE dampening wave emitter is really good at doing a disable. So I've been kind of messing around with the couple of traits here using invasive control programming, which also, this is a new trait that came out with the lockbox, and gives your control abilities like gravity well or tractor beam repulsors a chance to disable. And I've also been playing around with psychological warfare, which would be also good in a disable type build. I do actually like the disabled build, but I think it'd be more suited to like a pure science vessel rather than like the Odyssey, which is more of a science tank. Yeah. So there you go. I think for this, I think the build I'll go for on this ship is probably like a particle gen, or not particle gen. Well, yeah, particle gen, but it'll be a feedback pulse tank, taking advantage of that new Krenim Science Vessel trait. So let's go back here and take a look. All right, so that's just some things I've been testing out on this ship. So that build video will be coming soon, but you know, just you can see what I'm actually building here and what I'll be using for the testing. All right, and if you're also curious, I'm here on the Aquarius Bridge. This comes free with the package, so if you get the Tier 6 Flagship package, you will get this bridge. I didn't own the previous Odyssey bundle, and I got the bridge okay, so it's not like you don't have to own the previous Odysseys. If you get the Tier 6 bundle, you will get this bridge. You get the Aquarius Bridge. I believe you also get the Odyssey Bridge as well. But yeah, here it is, the Aquarius Bridge. Pretty nice that they throw in the bridges. That's good. You also get some of the, you know, the visuals that you can play around with in the ship Taylor. I showed that in my previous video. All right, enough of that. Let's take a look at the visuals. So as I mentioned, I actually really like the particle effects on all of these consoles. They have a nice visual effect to indicate when something is going on. And yeah, they're pretty flashy looking. So all right, so let's take a look. I've got the 4 consoles lined up right here. So I've got the tactical, the engineering, the science, and then the Krenim Science Vessel. All right, so let's take a look first at the, let's see, I don't know how far I want to zoom in here. I want to make sure I see the whole thing. All right, so the first one here, let's take a look at the tactical one. This one's not super flashy, but it is pretty cool. So there you go. You can see it actually gives, it kind of shows around your engines, indicating the flight speed buff that you get. There's the lockout. Here's the actual buff. But it does increase your flight speed and your turn rate, and it also increases your weapons. So pretty cool little effect there. I like that circles around the engines. Now here is the engineering version. This is the one that gives you a all damage bonus and an all damage resistance bonus. It's a pretty cool pulsing graphical effect. It looks actually really nice. I like how it actually follows the V up, the V shape there on the saucer. That's really cool. I like it a lot. I like this effect also because it's kind of subtle. It doesn't distract too much like some other effects, but it still is enough to actually indicate that there's something going on. I like that a lot. So there you go. It lasts a good while, 30-second duration. All right, the next one here is the science effect. This is the one that is an area explosion. So let's go. There you go. Pretty cool explosion effect. I mean, it's pretty similar to some of the other, like feedback pulse or, not feedback pulse. What's the science? Shockwave. The shockwave ability. Pretty similar to that, I guess, but pretty cool effect. It doesn't stay. You will see it on the enemies. You will see a small indicator on the enemies as well if they're disabled, but otherwise it's just a pretty quick effect while the explosion actually occurs. And finally, this is the console you get from the Krenim Science Vessel, the timeline stabilizer, and here's the effect for that. This one gives you buffs your firing cycle haste, and then also has like a radius around you that debuffs the enemy's recharge times and flight speeds. This one's really cool.
Ship is under attack.
So you can see there, it looks a lot like Scattering Field, the radius, but it also has kind of an interesting pulse wave effect right around your ship. Kind of a neat little effect there. So pretty cool. Definitely a thumbs up on the visuals. I like them a lot, especially the buffs being quite subtle. That one, I guess, is probably the most flashy. If you're not into the big flashy particle effects, or you think they're distracting, that one is probably the one you want to avoid, that timeline stabilizer. But otherwise, I found the other three to be quite mild and still look good at the same time. Alright, so those are the visuals. Let's go ahead and head over to Argala and test these out in combat. You can see there I'm actually using the Sojourner hull on my Yorktown science ship, because I actually I really like the sort of retro looking circular. Let me get away here from, let's head over to Argala. I really like the circular deflector dish, the retro looking circular deflector dish there. That looks really fantastic. Definitely my favorite of the hulls of the new flagships, because you can mix and match the different, if you have the 3-pack, you can mix and match the different hulls, saucers, nacelles, and all that good stuff. Definitely a very nice looking ship. I like how it still looks very similar to the old Odyssey, but just a few updates here and there. The Odyssey always was a great looking ship. Alright, so just one quick note here. I will be playing this on advanced mode. Just so I want to make sure I'm able to test these set bonuses, because remember there's the one set bonus that you get a stacking, you get a stacking buff when you take damage when one of your shield facings is down. This is not going to be like a speed run of Argala. I actually want to go slowly and take some damage and show all the effects going off, and take a look at how effective things are. Alright, so let's head over here. What I'm going to do is, I think the best place to test it would be right after these two, when the pack of 4 cruisers comes. That would be a good place to test out the actual effects here. You see there my plasma emission particle torpedoes. I did pull those out because I am messing around with a couple of the new starship traits that come with these. They all have buffs that occur when you fire a torpedo. In fact, I'll show you something here right away. When I fired the, you can see, no, you went away. But what you can see when I fired those torpedoes, I'll show it again in one of the upcoming battles, but if you use torpedo spread along with Supercharged Weapons, the new trait. Sorry, let me go over my traits here just so you know what I'm talking about. But the Supercharged Weapon trait, this one gives you, a 3 stacking buff when you launch a torpedo. The interesting thing is that if you do a torpedo spread and it launches multiple torpedoes, those all count, and you get all 3 of the stacks right away. So that's a nice little tip there. If you want to use this trait, I definitely recommend using Torp Spread. Now the Checkmate Ability, this one I don't know if this one stacks. I think it just gives it to you right away, so I don't think you necessarily need to run a Torp Spread with this one. But I am also checking out this trait as well. This one is more after you do like a grav well, and then you get a nice buff to your projectiles and your exotic damage, or if you use any of these abilities, basically your control abilities. That was kind of what I was thinking with this build. I have all these control abilities, I have these traits that have disables and buffs to the control abilities, and then you also have the disable from the science console, so it's kind of thinking this would be sort of a disable build. Alright, so here come the Krenim. Let's head right into the middle of them here. I'm going to start out, let's grab all them all together. Let's start with the science console. I'm going to go right in here and let's disable that. Boom. So they all get it. You can see sort of the little, I don't know, that, like the red radiation dot that's on them there, that affects them. It does massively reduce their damage for quite a while, so they're not really hurting you too much. In fact, they're not hurting me so much. I'm going to slow down my fire here. Yeah, that's right. It's set to auto fire until I'm out of combat. Okay, good. My shields are going down. You can see right here, deadly response. You can see it's stacking up. I'm already up to 2 stacks of it. So that's the 3-piece set bonus going off. That's when you have, you know, very low, or when you're taking damage when one of your shield facings is down. So that's pretty cool. I could see, you know, if you're in a tanking ship and you're constantly under fire and you're in a hull tank, and I could really, really see that being a fantastic 3-piece bonus, set bonus for that. So let's head here and see if I can get both of their attention. Okay, this time I'm going to use the timeline stabilizer. So this will speed up my firing rate, my firing cycle haste, which means my weapons will actually cycle fire faster. They go through their full firing sequence a little bit faster. And I believe it even shortens the cooldown time of the... I'm actually taking a lot of damage here. Let's go ahead and activate the engineering console, because this one will give me a nice damage bonus, since my hull is below 50%. And enhanced adaptive emergency systems, there you go. There's the buff for it. You can see I'm constantly getting those little temporary hit points too. That's also from that deadly response. I really, really like that trait for a tanking build. I mean, the fact that it gives you such a nice damage bonus, and let's go ahead and grab all these guys. I should also be sensor scanning them. The other nice thing about the Yorktown, the science variant of the Odyssey, is that it does get sensor analysis. But you can see this whole time I'm getting these little temporary hit point bonuses, and my shield is down. Now it is hurting me. But I haven't used a single, like, heal yet. I haven't had to. Use my engineering team here. Those little constant temporary hit point buffs you get from the 3-piece set bonus are great. So let's see. Let's see if I can disable this guy. My science ability's back up here. Anything else I haven't used yet? I also haven't used the tactical. Let's use the tactical on this guy. You see there, the firing and cycling haste is going off. Nice little increase in DPS while that is going. I'll save my disable again for the last fight once the boss comes in. But so far, they're actually, you know, for consoles like this, they're actually quite effective. I'm still enjoying that. Yep, I also do get my tractor regain repulsors with Guacamole here, so it throws them all in. Which is also a very nice buff and has a chance also to disable them. Again, I should be using that more because when that counts as a control ability, that will actually buff my torpedo spread. Gravity well up these guys, sensor analysis them. So you can see here, I'm not going crazy. I'm not activating all my, you know, tactical abilities and stuff here. I'm just trying to show off, you know, just the tray, the set bonuses, and the set click abilities here. I don't want to go too ham with everything else and confuse all the visual effects in it. And because as soon as you just start doing that, all of your, you know, your whole buff tray here starts going crazy, and it's hard to see everything that's going on. Okay, so last fight here. I'll wait for 12 seconds. I will just go ham and just use all 4 console actives on this last one. I will gravity weld them all together, and oh, there go the Bentons. So let's head in here. I'll go ahead and gravity weld them all together.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Sensor analysis then. I'm going to sensor scan them, and let's also activate this. Alright, here we go. Unload. Let's put on that. Let's put on this. Let's put on this. Disable them. Oops, I didn't put that. And there's the Krenim Science aura going out. You can see as soon as I did that, incoming damage went down quite significantly. So that is pretty effective. I think it's on line of sight there. I'm not sure what it was. But so there you go. There's all 4 of the consoles in consort. Even without the other things, I mean, if you activate all of your tactical abilities and all 4 of these consoles, it is really, really nice. You get a lot of firing cycle haste. You know, combine that with, you know, if you've got a fight wheel going and you got your all your tactical flight pattern, attack patterns going, it does really, really wreck. It's a very, very potent combo. Alright, and this is funny. I don't know if anyone else has ever noticed this, but if you ever sensor analysis this guy, it like takes forever to get out of combat. I'm not sure why. Just it doesn't actually count him as dead, so I think it still counts you as activating your sensor analysis on him. But that is it. So that is how, you know, the effect of each of the consoles and how they actually work in combat. As you can see, or at least, you know, during my commentary there, I was definitely impressed with the 3-piece set bonus. That I think has real good potential, especially on a tank build. Even on non-tank builds, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. You know, it's pretty common to have one shield facing or more go down. So it's, you know, and there's no cooldown on it. And if you're going to be tanking, you're having all the aggro, you can almost have constant uptype on it. That I think has really great potential. And a couple of these click effects are not too bad. Like if you're a tactical tank, you know, having the engineering one with the bonuses you get when you're below 50% health, combine that with like a go down fighting, that could be really awesome. So I really see a lot of potential in this set. Now, I think the only caveat here, so I mean, let's just talk about my, you know, conclusions here and, you know, what kind of builds I think these would be useful on, and just kind of finish up the video here. The only thing about this that is kind of the downside of this 4-piece set is that, again, that opportunity cost. It's, you have to sacrifice 4 full console set, slots in order to get all these bonuses. That's a lot to give up, and I'm not gonna lie, that is, you know, I think you're almost giving up too much when you do that. I mean, in my opinion, that is quite a lot to give up. 4 console sets. I mean, for example, to be able to fit into my build, I had to give up the regenerative integrity field, which is an amazing console. And, you know, that's a lot of opportunity cost to be able to do that. So I'd have to say, you know, and also the fact that the 4-piece set bonus is not that great. I don't find any of these little bonuses that it gives to the click abilities to be game-changing at all. That leads me to immediately believe the 4th-piece set is probably not worth it. That said, I am incredibly impressed with the 3-piece bonus, that deadly response. So in my opinion, that might be worth it for some builds. Particularly, I'm thinking tank builds here. If you're an aggro tank, you know, especially even if you're in the Science Star Cruiser here and you're doing an aggro tank build, here's what I would do. I would take out, which one would I take out? That is the question. But I would definitely take out one of these and throw in the regenerative integrity field. That would be perfect. Because the way the 3-piece set bonus is designed, the fact that a shield facing has to be down, you'd kind of want to design your ship around a hull-based tank. And in fact, keeping that in mind, I actually, if you look here in my tactical stations, you'll notice something. I'm not running tactical team on this. Because you know what tactical team does? It's actually very good at keeping your shield facings up. In almost every other ship, I would definitely want to have tactical team, but in this particular ship, if I were running a hull tank with this 3-piece set bonus, I would actually want a shield facing to go down, so I would not run tactical team here. At least that's my theory. I want to test it out a little bit more, and I'll do that before I actually put out the build video, but that's kind of my theory there. And of course, the regenerative integrity field goes perfect with a hull-based tank. This thing, While this thing is running, you are damn near invulnerable with, if you're putting out a decent amount of damage, you're damn near invulnerable for the time where this is up. So that means you could be hull tanking and getting a huge damage bonus while this is running. So that's what I would definitely recommend. I would say if you're going for like a hull tank, aggro tank build, I would take out one of the 3 pieces and replace it with a regenerative integrity field. I could see that as being a very, very good option. You're not going to be wanting to give up, your science consoles. You're not going to be wanting to give up a plasmatic leech. This here, I like to run the temporal disentanglement suite, but this is also something you could probably give up. But if you're going to give that up, I would replace it with another aggro console like this. So probably what I'm thinking, my aggro tank build would probably look something like, yeah, I'd probably get rid of the disable, I think. I don't really need to... So here's the thing, both the timeline stabilizer and the flagship tactical computer both give firing cycle haste, but that one's for the whole team, so that's really nice. It's a tough choice of which console you want to give up, but I think in the end of it, since if I'm going for an aggro tank build with not reverse polarity, feedback pulse, probably get rid of this the AoE disable, the dampening wave emitter. Slap the regenerative integrity field in there. This could be a very potent tank build, I think. Yeah, this could be very potent tank build. With that 3-piece set bonus and the regenerative integrity field, you have a good start. So that's my definite opinions. The 2-piece set bonus, didn't really talk about. I mean, it's 2% crit chance and plus 3 flight turn rate. It's helpful. It's not a game changer. I wouldn't sacrifice the 2 pieces just for that. But the 3-piece is what makes it, I think, actually worth it. Alright guys, that is my opinions and an overview of the 4-piece Flagship Technologies console set. I hope that was informative. I thought hopefully you have a good idea of what each of these consoles do and whether you think they'd be good in one of your builds. I sort of discussed how I think they could fit into a build. And particularly that 3-piece set bonus, I think it really fit into almost any tanking build. I think it'd be perfect for that. Outside of like a tanking build, I probably wouldn't go for the full set bonus. You might find some of these individual consoles good. I mean, even, the flagship tactical computer is really good since it's a team buff. Plus it also gives a 17.8%, direct energy damage. So it's kind of like, 2/3 of a extra tactical console. Not a huge, I mean, it's only Cat 1, but still is a passive damage bonus buff, so not bad. I mean, you could slap it in an engineering console slot, which, there's not much else you can put in there anyway, so... I mean, I could see slotting this one as an individual piece. The adaptive emergency systems, I could also see it slotting this as an individual piece on a tactical ship if you want to mess around with having massive damage bonus for 30 seconds during a go-down fighting. The other 2 consoles, the 2 science ones, the Krenim Science Vessel and the Science variant, those ones I think are the most situational out of them. But they could have some niches that you could fill. But yeah, that's my overall opinions. Hopefully you found this informative and to help you make decisions. Maybe if you're looking to buy this, into buying the Tier 6 flagship set from the C-Store, this might help you make up that decision. And at least, hopefully this will help comfort some people. If you see this video and you already missed your chance to get the Krenim Science Vessel, honestly, I wouldn't worry too much. Because the 3-piece set bonus is, I think, the best one. The 4-piece set bonus is really... the opportunity of cost of giving up that 4th console slot is really not worth it, in my opinion. None of the buffs you get from that is really overpowering. So you can get along with the 3-set bonus just fine. You can still make a really great aggro tank build with your Science Odyssey with just the 3-piece set bonus, and you could be all set and not have to really worry about the fact that you wouldn't be able to get that 4-piece. Alright everyone, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for some upcoming build videos. Look forward to those. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.